Hey everybody, it's Josh at CollectionDX.com. Today we're going to look at a pre-release of the Threezero Titanfall Stryder mech. It's very cool, it's very big. It's a little finicky, but I would just keep in mind that this is a pre-production sample. So, you know, there are things that they will tighten up and finish up prior to release. So let's get right into what this bad boy does. He's made out of all plastic, you know, so no metal or anything like that. He's got a movable turret here that goes up and down, which is kind of nice. This missile bank opens up on the side, and it also comes down, like so. It goes actually all the way down with a nice click. For some reason this moves too. Shoulders. See, there's a nice click. Clicks out. Come down here, you have a swivel, and this does, let's see if you can better there. It does click. It's a little, almost a little too tight there. Same thing on both sides. There are numerous little armor panels that move all over. They can sort of get whacked out of order pretty easily. Hands are very nice on a ball joint, but once again a little tight. Individually jointed fingers. Be careful with these hands. See these little prongs here that are just, they could get broken. A lot of things on this could get broken if it does a shelf dive on you, which I'm a little concerned about, just because it's very, this dude's very top heavy. You know, you just have these spindly legs to hold it up, and as you can see, kind of, you got to be careful because you could knock this thing right over. The hips. Well, before we get the hips, check out the waist joint. Each one of these pistons actually moves, which is very cool. Not a huge amount of motion though, so keep that in mind. These are actual real rubber hoses in the back here. The hips actually are a combination of rubber hoses and a hinge here, so they can rotate in and out. Let me see if I can do this. Pretty easily, you can see the motion there. Go down to the side. You have a joint here. You have a joint here and a joint here. Now you'll notice what's going on here is that once again we have Threezero piston issues. They just don't make them long enough to fully extend, and the instructions even show like, hey, if these come out, put them back in. Oh, and there's that top heaviness I was talking about. Yeah, so you gotta be careful. So while it's down, let's just take a look at this. So they will go back in pretty easily, but you just have to line them up. The feet are probably the most contentious parts of this guy. Trying to do this with one hand. Difficult. Alright, so those are back in. You can see here there's something that looks like a wheel on the back, but doesn't turn. And you can see this part here falls off a lot. So they could use to secure this a little better. Like literally, like every time I pose it, this thing comes off. But it does give you a decent look at the piston action in the front here. This is also movable, but this is not, despite what looks like some kind of joint in there, it doesn't move. So I don't know. So yeah, we'll pick this guy up and keep going. Alright, so now we take a look at the back of the figure. If you have played Titanfall, you know that one of the ways to destroy Titan is to come up and blow off this hatch. Well, it has a removable hatch, which is alright. There are these posable thrusters here that are posable in many different ways. And it's a good time to show you the light function. So if you see the button here with the exclamation point, you press it. Press it once, you get red. Press it again, you get blue, and then off. So on the back, it illuminates the thrusters, and I'll get to the other bits in a second. These little thrusters are also movable too. Be very careful with these. They seem thin. The battery compartment is underneath here at the bottom. It takes two AA batteries. I think it's AA. I'll have to check. So you can see some of the other illumination points on the front. It's just a nice little crotch light there, you know. Alright, so we should probably look at inside now. The joint to open this is rather tight, just FYI. Now this cockpit has a little more room than Atlas does, but it's still no treat to get the pilot figure in here. The instructions do come with like, hey, here's the best way to get it in, but dude, it is a tight fit, which I'm probably not going to do. But it's nicely detailed, little levers and things. No interior illumination, unfortunately. It's pretty cool though. Speaking of the pilot figure, he is remarkably well detailed. There's so much going on with this figure. He's really, really, really gorgeous. But the downside of that is that he's got so many little straps and armor panels and such that he's not super posable. At least not in such a way that he can maintain a pose. He's more like a doll, and he's kind of stand up. The stand is not included. I'm using it for display purposes, by the way. But the detail is great. The face is a little, I don't know, dead. Does that make sense? You know, expressionless. You know, that's fine. I guess that is what it is. Got a backpack, little boosters, hoses and straps everywhere. You know, more pockets and things. And each one of these, remember, each one of these is a real rubber strap that's a separate molded piece that actually, you know, can be positioned, which is good. I mean, there's a lot of attention to detail, but people who aren't really experienced with this stuff might find it frustrating that there's so many little bits to pose and such. He comes with a set of variant hands, and he comes with a nice rifle. And, you know, his articulation is, like I said, is limited just by, like, for example, see the big cowl on the back of the neck. That really limits what you can do with the neck. But damn if he isn't awesome to look at. And that's really why we're here for Threezero stuff, is the stuff looks great. If they're not toys, they're display pieces. You're not going to, you know, give them to your nephew to say, hey, play with this. You're going to look at them, they look cool, put it on the shelf, and be done with it. And in that regards, it's a phenomenal looking piece. The amount of detail and work into this is really, really nice. We have a gun too. Let me go grab that. So here is the gun. It is insanely huge, but very nice looking, very nicely detailed. Even like little like, oh, we're just taping the scope to here. That's not like, that's molded in and painted. It's very nice. All the little tampo details in both these figures. The tampo painting is just insane. The weathering's insane. The amount of details is crazy. And if you've had the other stuff, you'll know what's going on here. But the gun has a cool feature that opens up, and you can rotate the barrel like so. And this barrel is actually removable if you wanted to remove it for some reason. I don't know, but it's an action feature, so there you go. The thing about this gun, while it is awesome looking and highly detailed, is that it is just way too big for the character to hold. It is almost impossible to get a good pose with him in any other way than it just sort of resting on the, one hand in the gun and the other hand with the tip on the ground, or hanging very lowly. The mech just does not have enough strength in its arms to support such a weight, or anywhere really. Yeah, it's not happening. I tried for like 10 minutes to get that hand to hold that gun up, and it's just too big. Yeah, not gonna happen. Not today. Maybe with someone with a little more skill and patience than I can make it happen. But that's not to say it isn't cool and that it isn't possible. I've seen the pictures. I've seen people do it. I think what Threezero needs to do, a couple things if they are going to change this in any way. One is to make some mechanism, maybe a peg or something, to adhere the hand to the gun to support it in a secondary fashion. And a peg in the palm of the other hand would be nice also, just to get that, more secure. And I would also say, because this top part is so heavy, that I would strengthen up these joints here, and everything down from the hips to the knees to the feet. Just to, it does stand, obviously, you can see it standing, you can get some good poses out of it, but, to prevent the possibility of shelf dives in the future, I think that this guy is a good candidate for either a stand or just some way to shore him up a little bit more. So that's my impression of the pre-release sample of Threezero's Titanfall Stryder. You can get yours at the Threezerostore.com. The taking pre-orders starting in May 2015, and I believe this would come out at the end of the year. A little expensive, $430 US. You got to be a big Titanfall fan to love it, but seeing him next to Atlas on your shelf is pretty remarkable. So this is Josh from CollectionDX.com. We'll see you next time.